Untitled Gore Project, Chapter 2, The Second Chapter, by Ripley Stonebrook. The bus slid through rutted country roads. The driver's head twisted, watching for animals, hillbillies, or other horrors of the swamp. He hated these jobs, driving corporate idiots out to whatever useless retreat they were going to this week. He especially dreaded these country trips. He had moved to the city for a reason and didn't feel comfortable anymore without the lights of the city and traffic noises. His name tag read Hank, pinned to the side of his greasy, floppy ball cap. The passengers weren't enjoying the trip either. Two ladies in orange overalls sat in the front. One was short, brunette, and angry. Clutching a clipboard to her chest, she sat in the aisle seat, glowering at Hank. Her overalls embroidered with her name, Luann. Her partner, Deborah, was an older woman, tired, gray-haired, sad. She slumped in her seat as far from Luann as the uncomfortable bus seat would allow. A sign flashed past the right side of the bus, "Welcome to Morningstar." Another, smaller sign soon followed, "No trespassing." Deborah sighed and turned to Luann. "It's time." Luann waved her away. "I know, I'm not blind." Luann consulted her clipboard and tapped it loudly with her pen. "Ladies, eyes up front!" she shrieked. The passengers were seated as far away from the group leaders as possible. Dressed in purple overalls and clearly not happy about it, the four ladies in the back turned to the front. Luann continued, "Esther, Fran, you two will be in cabin 1. You'll find your orientation papers on your bunks." Esther, middle-aged, tanned, and obviously rich, had been paired with Fran, in her 20s. Neck tattoos filled the space between her jumpsuit and her short hair. Her hands were covered in ink as well, where they showed past the cuffs of her sleeves. "Beth, Stella, you'll be in cabin 4. Beth was a large woman, her long hair an unnatural red. Her lined face could have belonged to a worn 25-year-old or a well-aged 40. Stella was thin, her hair thin and blonde, framed an old, sharp face that looked angry at a world that consistently disappointed her with its incompetence. Blasting over the top of the hill, the bus dipped down into a valley with a blast of dust and a clang. The interior of the vehicle cloaked in darkness as the road turned into a muddy mess, leading underneath the overgrown canopy of the road.
"Fly,"
screamed Hank as he threw on the headlights. "I can't see."
"Salt."
Hank slowed the bus as it rolled down into Swampy Hollow. The muddy track ahead was barely visible through the ropey plants and vines stretching across the road. Luann and Deborah jumped to press their faces against the window. Branches scraping along the bus seemed to terrify them. "Deborah," Luann whispered, terrified by what she saw. "Shut the
"Frog,"
up," Luann whispered back. "We're here to do a job, and I get paid well to do it. I don't care if the road disappears. We're getting to camp and cashing our checks." Hank managed to keep the metal tube pushing through the greenery, emerging into a hazy, steamy clearing. The slick metal crawling under a wooden arch with crudely carved letters, "Morningstar." A circular area of mud and grime surrounded by squat, tiny cabins made from the same trees surrounding the camp. The wheels spin and whine as Hank turns the bus to face the road out. Returning from the place doesn't seem to be guaranteed. "Everybody out!" he screams. "Give us a minute!" Luann screams as she jumps from her seat, her short legs bringing her barely to Hank's nipples. Luann grabs the door lever and squeals it open, and runs out of the bus towards a much larger building, only now revealing itself beyond the cabins. All the campers grumble and start to pull their bags and suitcases out of the racks above them. "Wait for just a minute!" Deborah shouts to Hank and the campers. Her hands clutch her clipboard with white knuckles as she looks around the camp. Something is not right. The campers, all executives, are masters of reading body language and can see the terror she feels. Luann appears from between the cabins and waves Deborah over to the mud in the clearing, which Deborah does. They soon return. Luann pushes Deborah to the side to enter the bus first. Okay, everyone, here's the deal. Our hosts at Morningstar don't seem to be here at the moment, but I'm sure they'll be here shortly. Let's all get off the bus and get in our cabins and get started with your training. Deborah quietly speaks behind Luann. It would appear our hosts aren't here to meet us. We might not have power, heat, or water for the duration of your rehabilitation. Luann shoots here a dirty look. Deborah continues. But as you are all prohibited from continuing to work until completing your HR-required training, you are faced with a choice. Luann smugly crosses her arms in judgment. Deborah continued. You can stay with us and complete your sexual harassment workshop, or you can return with Hank now and come back for the next session, scheduled for 1 month from now. Stella throws her bag to the ground. I'm not losing another month's salary over this bull.
Sky.
Let's get
First.
f***ing started. I'm not getting punished for some
Fiesta.
not showing up on time. Beth hesitates for a moment before following Stella. Soon all 4 of the abusers were standing in front of the bus waiting for their cabin assignments, led by Stella, her thin blonde hair sticking to her forehead. Hank slammed the door.
Fit.
Fuck you bunch of crazy
Bug.
You all been trying to grab my
Ankle.
all trip, Hank shouted to the empty bus as his tire squealed, trying to find a way through the muck and back to the road. Finally, the tires found a grip, and the bus left. Hello, bonjour. I am Crandall. Welcome to the podcast that answers the question, if an infinite number of monkeys typing will write Shakespeare, what can a few dozen monkeys do? This is an interactive, you need to participate kind of podcast. I hope you're enjoying the story so far. It was really nice of Rip to provide us with chapter 2. I think we're all just so scared now. But, don't leave it up to me and Rip. Don't be shy. You got this. So, I should probably talk about what this is actually about. Okay, so, guess what? We're writing a story together. I'm going to give you beats. We're going to have a brainstorm. You're going to get ideas. It's going to be a good time. And if you follow the rules, you will be, your chapter will be put into the tombola. And then a random draw will happen, which is, I guess, what a tombola is. And then your story will be a part of history, a part of this beautiful podcast that will go down in the annals of time. But we'll get more into that later. You know what? I go on about how T.L. Bodine, who is the first person that came up when I Googled horror gore beat sheet. They are our guru for this our endeavor. And they don't just have the beats for us. I actually found out that T.L. Bodine has a little insight on actually what do you need to do to write horror. So I thought maybe if you guys are a little shy, maybe you don't really write horror. Maybe that's why no one is participating in this podcast that requires participation. It's fine. It doesn't hurt my feelings. According to T.L. Bodine, an important emotion in writing horror is disgust. And T.L. Bodine says, disgust is a primal emotion. It's a different sort of fear, one deeply rooted in us to drive us away from things that are not necessarily obviously threatening, but that still pose some kind of danger to us. We're often disgusted by the types of things that would make us sick: infected wounds, blood, feces, rotting flesh, dead bodies, etc. We may also experience a parasympathetic response to the sight of blood and guts. Some people faint at the sight of blood, whether their own or someone else's. So, why would you want to invoke feelings of disgust in your readers? 1, because a lot of things that are horrifying are, by extension, also disgusting. A grisly murder scene with blood and guts everywhere is gross. Rotting zombies shambling around the neighborhood are gross. It's just the nature of the genre. 2, because disgust taps into that visceral horror response, and that can be a really powerful tool in making readers uncomfortable and scared, which is of course your goal. Now I'll stop there for today. For the tips and tricks from our guru, I should probably think of a name for that segment. And if I have already thought of that and made a jingle, you'll know it before I know right now. Thank you, T.L. Bodine. We will come back to you for more insights. And of course, I'll be linking T.L. Bodine everywhere in every description. But you know what? I feel it. Oh, do you hear that? I felt that coming on. It's a brainstorm. It's time for a brainstorm. Yeah. So we're going to have to sneak through the Spooky Room Productions secret bookcase door to get into that Spooky Room Productions lounge. Hopefully, someone will be there to brainstorm with us. Let's go. Let's do this. Oh, Ripley's already in the lounge as usual. Hi, Rip.
Hi.
How are you?
Cooler.
Yeah, the
it's
fire
cool
isn't.
in the
The fire
quote-unquote
isn't
lounge.
going. I am offended by those quotes. Okay, so this week, we all know now you wrote the second part of the story. How do you feel about that?
I did. There was a lot of art juice involved.
Yeah.
And multiple stages and an outline.
Yes, you like to outline, even though overall none of us know what the story is about or where it's going. I guess you just outlined your own section.
I outlined my section, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I only had 999 words, and I needed to use every single one. I had a lot to do, and a lot of time to do it.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? That's the part of the fun. Was it? Did you? I mean, obviously it's challenging, but did you find it fun?
Of course.
Yeah.
Writing is fun. Everybody writing is fun.
Come on,
you should
now.
just write for fun, and if it's not a blockbuster, who cares? It's not supposed to be. It's supposed to be having a good time.
Especially
and a
for
good time.
this. I mean, that's what this is. This is just hey.
Are you at least at the level of a typewriter monkey? Banging away random words and phrases? Well then, good. You're set.
Excellent. And you did a good job, and you covered the parts you needed to cover. So you did putting the players in action half and setting them on the path. And I think you did a good job. You've covered it. We have lots of nice new characters. I think that you did a good job. Good job.
And they were they had to make a choice whether or not to stay. Although I did not have a harbinger other than nobody was around.
Well, I mean,
I didn't have time.
That's the next beat.
Yeah.
Called the warning. Let's talk about the upcoming beats. We have the warning. The characters are given an opportunity to turn back but choose not to. Could occur before or after the first contact with the monster. We're going to do it before.
You need a harbinger.
Number 5 is the first contact with the monster, and this will be the half beat. The characters have their initial contact with the monster but are unaware of the true threat it poses. So, that being a 1,000-word thing, you would, up to 666 words of the warning, and then 333 words of first contact with the monster. And then the person after this gets to write the concluding part, first contact with the monster.
Oh.
Yeah, and that would be the end of Act 1. It doesn't really split up perfectly with the acts and the whatnots, but we're all having a good time.
We're dealing with a framework here, and it's working.
Yeah, it's a totally arbitrary framework that it was the first horror beat sheet I found. Anyway.
We're all victims of arbitrage.
Arbitrage. That's the name of the monster. Arbitrage.
Arbitrage.
Fuck, it's arbitrage.
He comes in the guise of a monster.
No, it is a monster. It's just his name.
Oh.
Oh, you mean like it's a symbol?
I've been pulling samples from Driller Killer, and there's this one guy who's reading a lot of the Book of Demons, and it comes in the form of a monster. He grants gifts like favors from friends and enemies. It's great. Driller Killer. Everyone go watch Driller Killer. It's better than I remember. Oh, it's delightful.
So, let's talk about where these characters... So now we have our characters. It's a group of business women.
Campers.
Who have joined at the Morningstar rehab, and the rehab is for sex addiction, or whatever, or sex assault, or whatever. What is it?
Workplace sexual harassment.
Yeah, sorry, workplace. Yeah.
These ladies have been naughty.
Uh-oh.
They have done something. We don't know what specifically their acts are, but we know that they're here because of workplace sexual harassment.
Yes, so I guess that's some backstory anyone can weave in within your part. So let's talk about the warning. The characters are given an opportunity to turn back but choose not to, which you kind of already covered.
Well, you have to make a choice at the beginning that's not necessarily the harbinger. It's just the choice to get involved with the situation before you're given a real warning that there's a threat. So that's the harbinger.
Oh, okay. Oh, it is kind of a harbinger.
Kind of, but you have to choose to go on the path in the first place.
Yes, I thought that when they were in the bus and the dude's like, look, like, you can, or one of the purple chicks, with orange? Where are the people with the clipboard?
They're wearing purple, I think.
Okay, anyway, one of the purple.
If it's not, then we'll just put in another color right now. Green, red, blue,
I mean,
yellow.
Wait a minute. If the point is that I'm going to be able to cut it in, you don't have to make it sound like a robot.
It's more fun that way.
I suppose. All right, anyway.
If it was purple, we'll just leave it as
But
is.
when they were like, you have a choice, you can leave now and come back in a month, or you can finish it. I thought that was you setting up the choice of them saying, yeah.
Well, I feel like there has to be a choice to get into the situation, and then the harbinger is your warning that you can still get out.
Oh, so that they literally...
Yeah, you have to literally choose to be on the path.
Okay, so the warning, I guess, so the ladies are here, they're settling in their cabin.
Yeah, if it was like Cabin in the Woods, they all chose to go on that camping trip, but they weren't allowed to choose to go on the sexual harassment retreat, so I had to give them a chance to turn back before the harbinger.
But because then if we're using the Cabin in the Woods thing, I would think that the choice that we're talking about here would be that when the children went down into the basement and saw all the shit, they started fucking with it. They chose to do that. They didn't have to do that. I feel like the original choice of going on the thing...
That's really just picking your poison for that, though.
No, I mean the children choosing to go to the cabin.
Yes.
Is similar in this regard to the people saying, I'm not coming back in a month. So we're beyond that now.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
We have to make another choice. And like I said, anyway, I don't know.
So now the harbinger would be like the guy at the gas station who's like, don't go.
Yes. Yeah, in a Jason movie.
Yes,
Friday the 13th.
exactly.
But, so.
Or in Cabin in the Woods.
Oh, that's right. Oh my God, I forgot that was there. Oh, well then that's backwards.
And they literally call him the harbinger.
Well, yeah. But anyway, so what's going to happen? So these ladies are here. They're unpacking. Maybe they're learning what their lives are going to be like when they're living here. Obviously, Madam whatever, I forget what I called her in the first part, has to come out and give a little talk or something, or at least make an appearance. And maybe then the ladies who you have established are experts at body language know that something's wrong. I don't know.
Something like that. I may have established that. I don't remember that.
So that's a pretty weak harbinger, but I don't know.
You can always have, when the ladies come out, you got the main lady and you got the two other little maid ladies.
Yeah.
And the main lady can come out, and then the other ladies can come out. Look, everything's great. Everything's wonderful.
Okay. No, that's better. Stronger than what I said. That's
or
good.
there's just literally some spooky stuff, or one of them's missing an arm, and you're like, oh well, let's keep going anyway.
Okay, so yeah.
That's up to you. That's
you can do 600 words on that, because you have to kind of.
So what are your beats again?
The warning: the characters are given an opportunity to turn back but choose not to. Could occur before or after the first contact with the monster, and the 300 word beat is the first contact with the monster. The characters have their initial contact with the monster but are unaware of the true threat it poses. So,
And really,
I
with
guess-
the warning,
yeah.
the thing at that point is that when you're at the warning point,
Yes.
there has to be a reason why they have to go forward and not go back, which will force them forward, so that the storyline carries them through.
Yeah.
Which would be them, I guess, finishing their camp.
Yeah, you already
cetera.
established that in the bus
Yeah.
when they said we're not coming back next month. So, but yeah, so, or you know what?
But
This
you might
is-
have to establish something else where you're like, oh, you guys really gotta.
Well, I mean, this is all just a brainstorm. Even
Mhm.
though we're saying all this shit, obviously it's up to you. This is just to get your juices
This doesn't have a
flowing.
lot of relation to what actually comes out. This is brainstorming. And then you're going to have a monster.
Yeah, so finally we get a little glimpse of the monster or the monster's power, or someone gets threatened, or I guess someone could get killed.
Yeah, you got, 4 people to work with? Plus
Yeah.
the 2 counselors?
Yeah, you loaded
plus
you
you have-
loaded the place up with victims.
I
which
would
is
have put
good.
more, but 666 words, and you only got so many.
Well, that's the thing. That's the
Mhm.
fun challenge of this, is to say, like, yeah,
Fun.
fuck it, like, who cares?
And I want to establish we have separate cabins.
Yes.
So we have 2 pairs of 2 in their cabins, so that you can have something happen to one set without something happening to the other set. So you can have a little help with your something happens to one of them.
Now, the thing is, of course, the problem with this being the first contact with the monster is that, at least I don't know what the monster is. So maybe we should start to think of it what the monster is.
Well, we got swamp monster,
Yeah.
bog monster. We were also talking about maybe it's a cat god and some other stuff.
Yeah.
Maybe they're feeding people to the swamp.
Oh, well, that's the thing, right? Like, why are they mucking around in the bog like this, and why do they need people, so...
And plus, like, if they just have these camps for people to get fed to the swamp, wouldn't people stop sending people?
Yeah.
So you gotta figure that out. Maybe it happens on a cyclical basis or something,
Yeah, maybe it's like every 5 years or something.
or all sorts of different.
I don't
camps
remember.
come here.
Maybe I said it was more than that. I don't remember. Oops.
Like there's like this is this camp, Morningstar for that, but it also maybe another camp is just regular kids come by, or one is troubled youths, and maybe a lot of
Yeah.
different things happen at the camp.
Yeah. So should someone die, you think? Like, is it literally just going to be, someone is lured out to the bog and tossed in or something? Or I think
that seems like a bit much at the beginning.
yeah, like I feel like they should be in their safe space
Mhm.
when something monstery happens. So maybe no one should die. Maybe it should just be like what the
Frost.
fuck? Like, oh my god.
You got to pick one of the characters to be the idiot, and then they're the one that encounter it, and they're like, "Oh, the idiot saw it." Well, whatever. They're all sketchy and weird.
Yeah. Yo, yeah.
So that something happens, and then the rest of them are like,
Yeah, because that way no one would be that freaked out because it's just the idiot.
Yeah, exactly. Although the bus is gone. The bus will be gone. Well, is the bus?
Yeah,
gonna
the
be
bus
gone?
is gone. Yeah.
The bus is gone. Yeah. But you could walk out. That's an option that's open to you. It's not that long a hike.
Yeah.
So escapey as possible now, but maybe not in the future. I don't know.
Oh, that's the thing. I mean, it's wide open, right?
Yeah. Oh, I should have put a bridge in there. I should have put a bridge in.
You should put a bridge
I
in.
should have put a bridge is crossed, and
You
then it could be
know,
destroyed later.
It could be a bridge in front of the point where you began your chapter.
Well, I established that the roads are pretty messed up, so.
I mean, that's the thing, right?
Mm.
Just like, if there's like a big rainstorm or something, or a supernatural fog or what, you know what I mean? Like, there are ways.
Yeah. Or the woods just to start attacking them. If they
Yeah,
try to
yeah,
leave
the
or
woods just
whatever.
start like closing in.
Yeah.
Maybe the woods are starting to close in over the. I don't know. It seems like a lot. Like I'm just trying to think of word count as well. Like there's a lot to.
Yeah, you're gonna have a slightly slow burn.
Yeah.
Because of the word count, so you can only put so much in each
so
section.
they're at their cabins.
Mm.
The Dum Dum encounters something. Now, is she wandering around where she's not supposed to be? Is she in her cabin? Is it like, did she see a picture of something?
Oh, like finding clues left by past campers.
That's what I mean. Like, is it a
Mm.
clue thing? Is it a direct contact?
Oh, well, she could find a clue, and then that leads her to go check something out, and then contact.
300 words.
Mm-hmm.
That'll be good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Plus, you're gonna have the because
Okay.
you left off on a cliffhanger
and
on
that's
yours.
the thing. Well, it
Mm.
has to be because this is the half beat. So
Yeah.
this will also be leaving out a cliffhanger.
So we don't know.
And the person after this will have to come up with what actually happens. Okay.
Well, on yours, the girl they were hiding in the closet, and then like one of the girls got hit on the head or something.
Yeah.
So we don't even know how many of those people are going to show up or not.
Yeah, like are these two ladies the only staff?
And the leader? What's her name?
I
Do we
don't
actually meet
remember.
her?
Not yet.
All
Her
right.
name was mentioned. It was something stupid, like Madame Veronica or something dumb.
Oh my.
I forget what I said.
Yeah, well,
I'll look that up.
that's what looking up is for. Mm.
So okay, that's good. So yeah, so we
So
can.
is she going to show up and talk to the campers in a big epic scene? Like,
Yeah, I think so. And that would be in the 600-word thing, and maybe she'll say some things or do things that'll make the ladies kind of go like a little bit, but nothing, you know. And then stupid goes off, finds something, goes to somewhere she's not supposed to be, and then that'll be the end of it. And then the next person will have to actually make the monster attack or whatever.
Yes. And plus you got the two counselors that have been here before, so they can notice if something's a little off.
Oh, even they would notice if something's off.
They
Yeah,
could. Well, if
that's
you need
right.
them to.
Yeah. No, you're right. Yeah. See, yeah, you set it up so nice. I feel like I did not as good a job because I only had two people and the headmistress or whatever the fuck she is.
Well, you had to start. There's a lot to do when you
It's
start.
so hard to start, dude.
Mm.
But it's okay because that part's over.
Yeah.
So, guys, guess what? We're talking to you now, listeners. Sweet, delicious listeners.
I'm in your ears.
I'm in your closet.
I'm in your ears.
Okay, so you guys can write your story, 666 words for the first beat, the warning, and 333 words for the second beat, the first monster encounter, only half of that beat. All right, so Ripley, I guess that's all I need you for today. Thank you very much for
I guess I've been
brainstorming.
sent away.
Well, you can stay in the lounge. I'm going to creep back through the secret door, and I'll see you in a couple weeks, I guess.
I'm
Do you
gonna mess it up in here.
Do you live in here?
No.
Oh, I didn't think. I mean, it's a little clean for someone to be living. You know?
Yeah, no. I just do as I do.
Yeah.
When I do it, where I do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good. I like that. Okay,
Mhm.
bye.
Bye.
Wow, that was a very insightful brainstorm. I'm really, really glad that we were able to talk about those things that we definitely just talked about. Now, last time I had to do the rules and regulations, I gave myself a 10-second limit per rule. I did a bad job. So this time, we're going to go with 15 seconds per rule and see how that goes. And of course, if you need more information than the 15 seconds of rambling I'm about to do per rule, you can go to spookyroomproductions.com. Go to the A Few Dozen Monkeys page, and the rules will be there for you. But let's try. Let's do this. See if you're interested. Give you a taste. All right. Rule 1. On every podcast, I will explain the beats that I require for the chapter in a brainstorm. But of course, you don't have to listen to the brainstorm. You can have your own idea. And who decides if you have covered the... Oh! Rule 2. Each chapter, there is a 1,000 word limit because there's 10 chapters, 1.5 beats per chapter, 666 words for one beat, and 333 words for your half beat. But you know that, and I'm sure Okay. Rule 3. Any form is fine. You can write a haiku, you can write in a screenplay format, you can write normal prose, you can do what you regularly do, or you can go wild and see and give yourself a little challenge to cover the beats within a shorter number of words or something. Who knows? Wait, is my timer working? I think my timer. Just a second. Well, slap my something. All right, it's fine. And okay.
Flourish.
All right, so rule 4, keep things R. We're talking about the detail and the sex and the violence. This is a gore story, so there'll probably be a decent amount of gross, disgusting violence, if you will. But the sex, you gotta... Oh. All right, rule number 5. I am not going to edit. I'm just going to read it. I'm going to read it with your grammar and your spelling and your punctuation, but that does not mean it has to be perfect. You can leave it as raw as you want, and we can all have a Oh, okay. I think there's 8 rules, so we're on 6 now. Here we go. Research is optional. You can lie if you want. You can make things up if you fulfill the beats. We all have to accept it as the absolute truth in the story. So, okay. Rule 7, the tombola. So there's going to be a random draw of qualified entries. I'll read it on the podcast. And if there's no qualified entries, I will write it, or a friend of mine will write it, because I don't want to write every single chapter. But, okay. And rule number 8, how to submit. Go to spookyroomproductions.com and go to the A Few Dozen Monkeys page, and there'll be a form. You can either copy paste, or you can, you go there. Oh, shoot, I forgot again to talk about the illustrated. Rule number 9. Damn it. Okay. Rule number 9. I'm also looking for some illustrations. JPEGs, I think, are the good thing. You can also use the same form, spookyroomproductions.com, A Few Dozen Monkeys page. You go to the form, you can plop in a JPEG. I'll throw it into the illustrated podcast on my... Okay. I guess I can finish that thought. The illustrated podcast on my YouTube channel, Crandall Monk. Of course, there's also a link to that at spookyroomproductions.com. Okay. You know what, guys? I think we've had a really good time together. But the one thing I am missing is a little more inspiration. And I think today we need another author quote. According to Clive Barker, the most important responsibility I believe a writer has is to his or her personal truth. Don't be misled by the bestseller lists. Just do what feels true to you. Speak your heart, however strange or revelatory that is. Don't be ashamed of how your imagination works. What a reader wants to discover in a book is what you hold uniquely in your head. Wow. Thank you, Mr. Barker. I think that's what we all needed to hear. Well, I know now you are ready to write. Oh my goodness, you're already writing. Good for you. SpookyRoomProductions.com. That's productions with an S. Crandall Monk on YouTube. Links and likes and subscribes. Oh, shoot. I almost finished this thing without even telling you when I expect your pieces. Oh, and a cat is here. So we'll see if he presses any. No, don't touch that. Don't touch that. So we split the 3 weeks. There's 3 weeks in between each podcast, so you definitely want to make sure you're subscribing so you don't miss out or forget that we exist. Okay. So we split the 3 weeks. So this podcast came out on June 1st. Let me see. Yes. So this podcast came out on June the 1st. So the next podcast will be on June the 22nd, which means if we split it, that y'all have till June 12th, midnight, Atlantic time, to submit your chapter 3. And then on June 22nd, 2024, all will be revealed. And we'll see if one of you all have made the cut. And by the way, if you're listening to this and you're like, it's not 2024, I can't participate. What? I really want to participate. You know what? You can write it yourself, just for fun, or do this with your friend or something. You know. And you know why? Because it's better to finish something than to give up on everything. You know what I mean? Let's go.